just highlight some of the main differences between the post-grant proceedings that we're talking about, as well as, amongst themselves, as well as versus district court.
Sure. So the biggest difference that's at the forefront of everybody's mind, I think, when they're sued for patent infringement is before a district court, if you want to challenge the validity of the patent, you have to meet a clear and convincing evidence standard. So, nobody wants to put a percentage to this, but in my mind, it's somewhere around an 80% burden of proof. If you instead take your invalidity challenges to the patent office, either in PGR, IPR, or in Ex Parte Reexam, on paper, it says the burden that you have to meet is much lower, preponderance of the evidence. So right out of the gate, it's an easier job to invalidate a patent before the patent office, supposedly. Now, I know on the slide it says that for PGR and IPR, you get a preponderance of the evidence with a bite. And I think that comes into the fact that, you're not getting a jury there. You're getting a panel of very well-educated, very informed judges who, dig into all of the merits. And so it's still a preponderance standard, but you have to convince experts in the field that you have met that preponderance standard that sometimes is construed a bit higher, in practice. Another difference, and this one's different across all three, is the decision maker. You're going to an Article 3 judge or a potentially uneducated jury before a district court. So not only is it a higher standard, but you're working with people who are not experts in this technology and trying to convince them that you've proven that higher standard that this patent is invalid. IPR and PGR, you get a panel of 3 judges, and at least, Jessica can correct me if I misstate this, usually at least one of them is very well informed on this technology area. You might get all 3 that are well informed, but at least one is going to be a pseudo expert, if not a true expert in this field. So an educated panel that's going to make a decision on your arguments. Ex parte reexam, you get a single examiner. Usually the CRU is where it goes. That's the unit at the patent office that determines reexam stuff. You'll get assigned an examiner. That examiner drives the whole proceeding after your initial request. So with the exception of the one patent owner statement response Michelle mentioned earlier. So now you're getting one person who is knowledgeable about the technology, but perhaps a little less knowledgeable about the legalities, not steeped in the case, not spending as much time as you have done crafting the arguments, and now they have to drive the arguments for you. So benefits to each of these 3 different decision makers. Claim construction is another big difference across these. Back in November of 2019, the PTAB changed their standard of construction from broadest reasonable interpretation to the Phillips framework to align that with the district court standards. Now you're getting that ordinary and customary or plain and ordinary meaning in both district court and IPR, PGR. Maybe that's a good thing because you can now be consistent across. Maybe you need different constructions for non-infringement that you do for invalidity, and now it's complicated your case. So ups and downs for that. Ex parte reexamination, perhaps another perk is that you get a broader construction. You're still getting that broadest reasonable interpretation so long as your patent is unexpired and is not going to expire during the course of the proceeding. So if you're filing 2 days before the expiration, don't plan on a broader read of the claims. You're going to be right back into that Phillips standard as well. So a lot of differences to keep in mind as you're selecting your forum.